Hi everyone, and welcome to our new adventures
Hey,
with me, Laura and Colleen. Unfortunately, Brogan
I
can't
can't
be
see
here.
Laura and I can't hear her.
Oh, um,
Hi, beautiful family.
hi.
Christina Alwitchy here. I am your producer for the night, and the ladies seem to be having some technical difficulties. I'm going to ask Colleen if she'll go ahead and drop out of the studio and pop right back in. And Laura, I do believe we are going to find out about Colleen tonight, aren't we?
Yes, it's Colleen's journey so far tonight, and I'm really
Oh,
excited to hear.
I am too, and I hate that we're having so many technical difficulties. Poor Brogan, they tried to say she's under 18 years old, family, and so they wouldn't let her come on. They said we had to wait 24 hours to find out about her age, which we know she's over 18. But we're going to find out about the beautiful Miss Colleen down here tonight. I'm going to draw back out and push the buttons so well, and you ladies have a lovely show.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Night full of adventures tonight.
What sort of evening are we having so far?
I
This
know.
this this fits in with my life. This does.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's not about me tonight. It's about you tonight.
Yeah, a little bit. So I think we sort of went with the whole idea of introducing each of us separately, because it gives everybody a little bit of background to us, didn't we?
Yeah,
Um, so about me, um, I am 48 years old now. Um, well, years young.
usually.
Yeah. um, I am one of six children. I'm second eldest of them six, which says it pretty much determines an awful lot about me. So, like my elder, she was a sister, so she was pretty much in the house helping mum with chores and things like that. Whereas I was always traditionally like go out and play, with the younger siblings, keep them busy, keep them entertained. So a lot of my who I am, I think, was formed in them early years. So there wasn't really time for me to think an awful lot about me. It was
You
always
were basically taking care of other people.
Yeah, and it was about entertaining them. It was about keeping them happy. It was about making them laugh and it'd be fun times for them.
Is there big age gaps between these?
Well, there's like 3 years between me and my elder, and then between me and the one underneath me, like there's not even a year between us, and that's a brother. So there's three girls and three boys.
And were you expected to look after your brother who was just a year younger than you?
Yeah, and then
Mhm.
then the sister underneath that, there's 3 years between me and her, and then there's 5 years between me and the brother underneath that, and then there's so it's 9 years between me and the youngest sibling,
It's
and
not a
that
lot
was
of
when
years.
no, no, it wasn't. No, I was really young, and I was pretty much just I was taking care of them. I enjoyed it. It was always a lot of fun. Like it meant that I didn't really have to help with the household chores or any of that
Yeah,
sort of stuff. So that was
yeah.
always fun. But then unfortunately, like there was extremely bad circumstances within the family, and like so we were placed into care at a very young age. I was 11 when we went into care. Um, so, like, although it was told that I didn't need to be looking after the younger ones anymore, and they were placed with me, and it was a natural instinct for me to do that. So it did. But shortly before coming into care, like I'm quite a spiritual person, and my relationship with what I conceive to be God or a higher being, that started just before I went into care. My dad used to call me a Bible bastard and all kinds of other things because I was into that sort of thing. But then one night we'd gone to like a youth club thing. It was like a couple of weeks before we went into care. And they told us that you didn't have to pray out loud. I always thought that you had to go on your hands and knees and sort of like, Our Father who art in heaven. I thought that's how you had to pray. I thought that's what it looked like. But then they sort of told us that it doesn't always look like that, and that what you can do is close your eyes and have a quiet conversation, and that you didn't need to share that conversation with anybody else. That was between you and your higher being. So, like, for the first time ever, like, I'd never really seen anything wrong with what was going on at home or what was any difficulties in our home life. I just thought it was normal. I thought everybody's life looked like that. And to be honest, a lot of it did, Laura, like in terms of like that we'd get physically chastised and stuff in the 70s and that. A lot of people did. It was quite normal that's how you were punished, but I'd had like what I called my little quiet conversation, and I asked for it to stop. And I didn't pray to God. I prayed it was to my granddad, who had not long passed. And within a couple of weeks, my elder sister had run away, and she then told people what was happening. So they came and removed us, and we went into care. Being in care was like, again, it sort of fed into me, because like the younger siblings, they were really, really sad. Like they were crying all the time, and they wanted my mum and dad, and like they were really sad, understandably. So I became that fun side of me. It was always about playing games. It was about making new games up. It was about the enjoyment of the new food that we were experiencing. We hadn't had like a full-on routine the way that we were having it then. We certainly didn't all have like that we could all play on bikes, and there was a park in your front garden, and we didn't have any of that stuff. So like we got to do all that, which was.
Did you prefer it?
No, not really. I didn't know. I preferred being at home at that time. I missed being at home, even though it was so awful. It was what I knew. I didn't know any different. And like now it was becoming that we were having to deal with other people and what they thought, and they were telling me that I'd have to be in bed at a certain time, and they were telling me off, and they weren't even my mum or my dad. And I always remember all the time saying to them, "You're not my mum or my dad. How can you tell me what to do?"
Mm-hmm.
I am quite like that in my personality. And then it was hard to watch other people punishing my siblings and telling them what to do, when it was always me. It was always me that done that.
Your
Or
job.
yeah, so that was really hard. And then like they were younger than me, so like a lot of the difficulties I had, they weren't really experiencing. So they were chose to be fostered out and got adopted and that. But I got fostered for for a couple of days, and she sent me back. She told me outrightly, "You are horrible. You are," and she was just proper
And
no.
were you out your way horrible to your foster carers?
No, I was just doing things like I wanted to use the phone and stuff, so I'd use the phone when she wasn't there, and a grandson caught me on the phone, and I told him, "Don't tell her." And he did tell her. So she was like, "You're trying to convince him not to do, and you're just being nasty." And like, I didn't see the harm in what I'd just done.
Yeah.
I just thought that like that all the kids sort of done stuff, and he kept it away from the adults. I didn't really see any of it, but I think it just disrupted their life too much. But then like I went back into the home, and by that point, like all my siblings they'd been fostered out and stuff, which it was heartbreaking. Like, I lost my sense of who I was then at that point.
You lost your family?
Yeah, like it was bad enough losing my mum and dad, but losing my siblings, like they were my whole identity. Like, I was nothing without them. But then, like, there was another thing that sort of happened within the home, and it was like he was not guilty, is what the court said, and they used what had happened the first time round, and like I spiraled. I spiraled out of control. My love of life, my belief in my spirituality, my belief in who I am, it went. I didn't care anymore. If I sort of thought, well, if other people are gonna hurt me and be able to do them things to me, then at least I'm going to be the one that okays it. So it is okay. You were pretty much allowed to do whatever you wanted to me, like, and that was okay. I sort of accepted that. But then, like, as I was sort of going through the whole, like, I'd be hurting myself. I'd be doing things that I really shouldn't. So I kept on getting put, like, in mental health institutions. And I learned a lot there. I learned an awful lot. They tried to teach me a lot of stuff that I didn't really take on board until I've got older. But mostly it was more to do with like, I took on board the counselling my way through the issues that had happened. I didn't take on board, like, they try and give you what are called so-called tools or coping mechanisms. And none of them seemed to work for me at that time.
What age were you when you were at counselling?
It started when I very first went into care, but I was like 13
I'm
up until broken.
Oh,
Hi,
so
beautiful.
happy.
I was so happy you're here.
oh, a bit technical difficulties. I think we got it.
We rocked it. It's not the same without the three of us. I'm like,
No.
we've lost someone again. But yeah, so that started, I was about 13. And when I was 15 is when it pretty much stopped. And I learned that I didn't like all this introspective stuff anymore. I wanted to have fun. I'd lost myself, completely lost myself, and I had to go somewhere dark to figure out, like, a lot of things. And I didn't like being in a dark place. I liked that light, airy, breezy side that I'd always had before. So, like, I went back into that, like, so I'd start going out to clubs, and maybe I was a bit younger, shouldn't have been going to clubs, but I did. So I'm not gonna lie, like, that's what I'd done. And I had lots of fun. I had lots of fun. Um, I then, like, I had my children early. So after I'd had them, I was about 19, and I went back to education because I'd left school early, obviously because of the mental health homes and that. So I didn't have no qualifications. So I went and I started with night school. And
What did you do at night school?
I studied psychology, which turned out to be the best thing I ever done. It taught me an awful lot about, like, I had access to materials that I wouldn't have had access to otherwise. Because I'd done my GCSE, then done the A level in it, and then I went to undergrad. So I done that then. So then it sort of gave me an access to a whole world of materials that, like, if you like, normal people out in the world wouldn't really access. So I learned a lot about, like, why it had happened to me, why life had happened the way that it did to me, why it was that we needed to be split as children. And that just opened up our whole, like, now I can breathe. Now I can breathe. Before then, I thought it was something I'd done, thought it was something wrong with me. And I quickly learned there was nothing wrong with me. There was something wrong with the adults that had raised us. It was on them, not on us. So I very quickly, like, my love of life came back tenfold. So I had my children, and I was very like, I'm one of them parents, even like with my grandson now, like, I don't sort of stand over a child. I never have done that. I get on the floor with the child. I'll roll around on the floor with the child. Like, if it's a case of being on the swings, I want to be on the swing next to you. You know, it's like, I sort of like, and when it was that I'd have to tell them off for things, I understood that it was important for me to, like, mold the behaviour in a certain way, because that's my job as the parent. But I was also very aware that I wanted them to be individuals. So I sort of embraced that an awful lot. So it was always cushion fights in our house, and it was always like,
I always say that I'm raising my children to be feral, because
yeah,
like I just like them just to be a bit wild and just running
yeah.
about rather than sitting down, and like I always like them just to be a bit.
Yeah, because it's important, because you will learn. I do think, and I've seen it with my own, that you do learn all of them, like, them good stuff, if you like, that you need to learn to be a functional adult. You can learn it in a really fun way, though. It doesn't have to be so serious all the time. You know, like, it's quite normal to be in my house, be having food, and not turn into a food fight. And it's normally me that starts it, because I just can't help myself. And even like when we get to Christmas and that, the Christmas Eve, like, we always had I always made mine, I'd have bells outside, and then I'd have bells on my wrist, and I'd be like, I'd make them sing, you know, really loud. Well, not make them, but I'd be like, Rudolph will come and leave some gifts, you know, early gifts. If we sing loud enough, he'll hear us and he'll come. So we used to do like this trickery where it was like, I'd jingle them when they'd be like really loud, and I'd be loving it. I'd be nearly crying, you know, with like, I'd be overwhelmed with this like emotion that was just pure elation.
Love.
Yeah,
That's what
it
it
was
sounds like to
love.
me. Love. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was me. It was me that wanted to open that present early. It was me that wanted to.
Brilliant.
But they liked it, like, so they always wanted to be able to buy me gifts and things. So even from a very young age, I would literally give them money, and we would go to the pound shop. Well, it was 50p shop back in them days, and they would literally, like, they'd buy all little gifts for each other and for me, and they'd wrap them up themselves, and that'd be off them. So it was always sort of like, it was always important to me that they were able to show love to each other and show love, like, receive love of each other. Probably because that fight and flight had kicked in for so long, if I'd be truthful. And I sort of learned that what love was then. I learned that it wasn't the thing that was at home. Some of that was love. Some of it was. Some of it, like, taking care of you or whatever. Some of that was love, like, but some of it wasn't. And love didn't have to look that way. So I learned that there was different types of love. I learned what confidence looked like. I learned that confidence comes in many different forms. I learned what self-esteem is. And probably the biggest thing for me, and I've spoke about it before, I speak about it all the time, was standards for me. Standards and boundaries, they go together hand in hand. Um, and you know what I sort of say all the time is that standards tell other people what I expect from them, but boundaries very clearly show them where that door is.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not because I don't want people in my life. I do, but I don't need a lot of people. I need that love. I need that quality of love. I think that, like, that when I spoke to my granddad that night, I think that's what sparked everything. It was pure love. It didn't come from anywhere other than I love my siblings. I love me. I don't, even when we stood in court, like, I told them I didn't want anything bad to happen. I loved my siblings, and I loved my mum and dad as much as it was bad. Like, I still
Yeah.
loved them. I learned that it was okay to love somebody, but really despise the behaviour, despise what they stood for, but I still love them. Like, so, like, now I know people will say, like, that there is that thing of unconditional love, and I'll challenge that every step of the way, because I don't believe that there is such a thing as unconditional love. There's some things in this life that are unforgivable. So there will always, yeah, so there will always be conditions. There'll always, that doesn't mean that I won't continue to love you if you've maybe broken some of them conditions, but I can't accept you in my life.
Or you don't need to have them in your life. That's a different thing.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that, like, I sort of learned as well, you know, about the whole, like, so you've got your self-love, haven't you? But you've got self-care as well. And they're two different things. So being able to break all of that down for me, like, I'd be there learning the psychology, and all I'd be doing is going, oh, that's what that is. Oh, right. So if I do that like that, then I'm going to be able to get this from life. And if I change my behavior in this way, or modify it in your life, if you like, then that's what you're going to get in return from life. I always sort of thought that, like, I had to be overwhelmingly nice to other people for them to be nice to me. I didn't realise it was such a two-way thing. I really didn't realise that every relationship, it doesn't matter whether or not that be a friendship, or mother and daughter, or friends like we are, or neighbours, anybody, any relationship that you have in life is a two-way thing. And that comes from both parties working at that in order to maintain it. So, like, I'd sort of say, so for example, me and my neighbour, right? So she can knock on mine and get sugar whenever she wants. I can knock on hers to get sugar whenever she wants. If she needs to talk to me over the fence, we'll talk over the fence. But if for some reason what I done was I then didn't maintain that neighbour friendship, so I suddenly started to not even look at her when I walked out my house. I didn't say, hi, how are you today? Then that isn't maintaining that relationship. You have to maintain all relationships in order for them to stay healthy.
A question from Christina. At what point in life did you realise that there is a difference between self-love and self-care? And can you tell us what the difference is between the two, in your words?
I think I was about 22 when I realised the difference. And that was when I was doing my A-level psychology. And the difference for me is being able to, so self-love is being able to see who I am, close my eyes with who I am, see, right, so Colleen, she will look out for her neighbours. Colleen will be there for her friends. Colleen, to recognise me as a human, as an individual, as an entity, as a spirit, and learning to love that thing, not what's on the outside. None of that is about self-love for me. Like, self-care is the outside stuff. Self-care, and some of it's internal, so some of it's about dietary requirements, some of it is maintaining like your health things and going to see dentists and that. So that's self-care. And self-care is like making sure that I've looked after in terms of, am I keeping clean? Am I keeping my house in order? Am I paying bills? Am I caring for my life? Not for the internal. Self-love is being able to love who I am. I like, that's different than, and maintaining self-love is about being able to, if sometimes I drop in that in myself, then like I then have to return back to a mirror, or I then have to return back to closing my eyes. And mostly it's closing my eyes that works for me, because I can feel that sense of who I am. And I ask myself all of them questions. So would Colleen hurt somebody intentionally? Would Colleen rectify a situation if she knew that she'd hurt somebody unintentionally? Would Colleen go out of her way as a human being to not just help humans, but animals? Does Colleen care about the world in which she exists and know her place within that? All of them things then reaffirm to me that I love who I am. I am not a bad person. I have worked hard to be who I am. Like, there's been points that people have like, they've seen me as aggressive. They've seen me as like overpowering. They've seen me as like quite selfish, because they've misinterpreted what I am. So I'm not aggressive. I'll change that for you. I'm assertive. I'm passionate. That's not
I
aggression.
agree. You're passionate.
That's different. In terms of, am I overpowering? No, I just won't be overpowered. I know how to stand up and go, hang on a minute, no. I know how to do that. So that's different. In terms of Colleen being, how'd you say, selfish? No, Colleen's not selfish. Colleen knows that Colleen's very important, and that in this world, truthfully, it'll only ever be me that looks after me.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautifully explained. Thank you. You're aligned within, so you stand on your beliefs. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
You have strength of self, Kevin's saying.
yeah,
You do. You have a very strong sense of self. Very passionate. But do you not think the word
yeah.
selfish
I
is
think because,
on you go?
no, yeah, that word selfish should be like, if people tell you that, then I think we've got words that we can use and say, actually, no, you're wrong. That's not selfish. That's called self-care. That's called self-love. That's called, like, I haven't got no parents. Like, that's what that's called. I had to like learn how to look after me. Nobody wanted me in a children's home. Nobody wanted to take care of me. Do you know what I mean? So I had to learn to, very quickly, like, I know that all the things that happened were really bad, but I had to develop this, like, if you like, a bit of a dark sense of humour. There's a lot that there isn't much in life that I won't laugh about and I won't make a joke out of, especially the things that I've been through. And I don't let somebody, like, you can't trigger me now with any of them words, because the power belongs to me. That's if I give somebody else the control to be able to trigger me with words, then I've handed that over. That's within my control. So I take back that control and I say, that's not your right to do that to me. If anybody's going to trigger me, it's going to be me that does it. if you've been able to do that to me, that's because I've opened up a doorway connection between me and you. And the minute you do that to me, I will slam that door in your face so fast it'll be unbelievable, because I have to protect who I am. Like, the world is such a beautiful, beautiful place. And like, so many people want you to see all the dark and the negative and the nasty stuff that's in it. And I'm not that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I could exist thinking of myself in such a negative way, or in the way that the world will try and put you. I think sometimes that's them not understanding who I am.
Brogan, do you want to read out there? Problems with my throat.
Have you done shadow work to get this point as oh, I'll start that over. Sorry, my dyslexia is shining through. uh, Mary, this is a question for Mary, by the way.
Yeah.
Have you done shadow work to get this point and to get to this point, and what advice would you give others who are on their own journey, shall I say? Sorry
Mm,
about that.
No, it's okay, beautiful. I understand it. I'm dyslexic myself, love. It all comes out one way or another. And what,
Oh
again,
yeah.
we have to laugh about it. No, I haven't done shadow work. I'd call it was all introspective. It was all, truthfully, I connected to my sense of self. And that sense of self has been what guided me forever. Like, if I don't feel okay in that, I've spoke about it before, that I will go outside and I'll look to the universe and I'll ask the universe for guidance. And I, as a friend, when people have spoke to me and asked me about, like, how do I decide if I do something? Do I decide it with my head, decide it with my heart? I've always been really truthful in that, like, I decide it with my gut, with what feels okay to me. I'm all about that feeling. It hasn't been that it was all CBT, it was all that sort of therapy work that I'd done. It was all just basic counselling. It was never anything.
See, with you talking about the feeling in your gut.
Yeah.
No, I didn't actually put boundaries in my life until not that long ago. And that's what I used to put them in, was the feeling in my gut. Anything that made my insides feel uncomfortable, that was a boundary right there, that was stepping all over.
Yeah.
And that's what I then used to work on.
I think it can be the most, like, it's the thing that was given to you. It was the, like, because we're humans, and like with any other animal, we've all got survival. We've all got that survival stuff. And I think that that's an innate quality that we've got, like, that, but we just don't harness it enough. I don't think that, like, we've come so far away from, like, being who we are, that we've sort of drifted into what we see and what we hear, and instead of being what we feel and just being, like, it's so understated, like that mindfulness of just being able to be present in a moment, feel yourself and feel your, like, because I don't have to touch the world around me to feel it. I don't have to touch the stars to feel them. I don't have to touch the wind to feel it. I don't have to touch you to feel you. I can feel you. Do you know, like, maybe it was just that my connection to my spiritual connection just developed so much. Like, so we went into where we went to was, it was the Salvation Army's children's home, which is like, it's brilliant and that. But what that innate sort of brought out a lot in me was, I then went down the road of, I was always read the Bible. I was always mindful of different cultures and what they believed in and what their belief systems are. And so over the years, what has happened is my own individuality and my own spirituality has developed based upon what I think and what feels right for me. Like, so in Hinduism and that, it's believed that heaven is to be found under your parents' feet. But when my mum passed, I kissed her feet. That's where I stayed while machines were turned off and that. That's where I stayed. Whereas my sister is of a different belief than me, and she was at her head. We have different beliefs. Like, I think that you shouldn't ever deter what your strong beliefs are just to fit in with
Yeah.
what the world expects you to believe, or the other people are telling you this is the right way. Like, it's not what might be the right way for you, Laura, or Brogan. It definitely wouldn't be the right way for me, because your name's Laura, your name's Brogan, and I'm Colleen. We're all different, and like, we're not meant to be the same. So I wouldn't ever say that, like, because you've got a belief system that's different than mine, that means that mine's any better or yours is any less than mine. It's not. Like, they're both of equal standards. They both do the same thing. Like, if I feel lonely, like, because I'm on my own now, my children have left home. Apart from I've got my youngest still with me, but he's a grown adult now. Like, he doesn't come to me like that. So in terms of when I want a hug and I want them things, I don't even have to do like, you're taught in therapy, aren't you, how to give yourself a hug. I don't have to do that anymore. I can close my eyes and hug my soul. I can soothe my soul just by my mind. My mind can do that. I don't have to rely upon any physical, like, and I suppose it feels really strange for people, and it probably sounds like quite strange for people. Maybe if you haven't got them belief systems yourself, you won't really understand any of that. But most people that meet me don't even really get to know that side of my personality. They just get to know I'm very positive as a personality. I have the ability to turn almost everything into a positive, like, just by how you're viewing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Like, I've always been able to do it, and I'm a very bouncy person in my character. If you put me in the middle of a room, I'm pretty much the light and the soul of the party. Like, and I am always able to cheer people up. I'm always able to bring people out of a dark space. Like, I'm always able to do that, but not through my spirituality, and not being able to talk to them on that sort of level. Like, it's quite a personal level to me, this, do you know what I mean? Like, this is really who I am. Like, the rest of it, that's for the world, that's for how I connect with the world, that's how I interact with the world and people around me. But how I connect with me and I interact with me is very different. How I connect with what I would consider to be God, or, like, for me it's a universe. Like, that's how it is for me. How I connect with that, it's a very light, it's a deep, but it's like, it's not in a dark place, it's in a really light. Like, if I protect myself, you've heard me say about it, I will put myself in a bubble of light. Do you know what I mean? I literally will protect my whole like spirit from whatever the outside world is trying to throw at me. I don't know if I'm wrong, like, but I sort of have made assumptions that why people sometimes do that to me, and why life tries to do that to me, is I think it tries to test me. I think it tries to, like, or it's frightened by, like, people in general. Yeah, I think they're threatened by it, or they're scared of it. They don't understand it.
So old Mummy Wolf is asking if you can give one piece of advice to people watching how to find their inner peace.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. And be. Let your heart rate slow down. Let your breathing slow down.
And listen.
Listen to what, like, them
Listen.
thoughts, like, let them just go a minute, because thoughts they're a process of what we've learned since we were born. When we were first born, we were born without words. We were born without that ability to speak, but we were born with the ability to feel and to exist. So I have to say to close your eyes, go back into your internal self, get rid of them thoughts, let them thoughts go, just let them wash over, let them go out the way. But that is not where you're going to concentrate with. You're going to concentrate on that gut, on that, and it's not even your gut, it's literally right in the center of you. It's your heart, it's all of them internal organs, it's them things that make up who you are. Get back in touch with them again. Let them, like, guide you into where you need to be. That peace, it's right there. It's right there. Nobody can take it away. Like, other people might call that meditation. They might put other words on it. But I just call that just be. Don't be anything else. Just be. Don't think. Don't do. Don't anything. Don't speak. Don't do nothing. Just be. And peace will come from that just being. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Perfect.
But like, is that Christina?
Dangela, sending you lots of love, my beautiful soul sisters. Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, I love our Angela. I love her. Again, she is a beautiful queen. She's a beautiful, like, she has a sense of who she is, and that's aligned with the stars and the universe in the same. I get, but then we have differences of, like, we believe differently, but that doesn't mean that.
But this is the thing. I think that's beautiful. See, when you can all be accepting and believe different things.
Yeah, and I do believe, like, because I speak to Angela, and I found her off the app, and truthfully, like, and we have said it's strange because it feels like your souls are connected, like you have an understanding of somebody, like, and who they are, when you're just connected to, you're connected to yourself, just to yourself, and to the.
Do you not think there's a lot of people that aren't connected to themselves because they don't?
Yeah, and I think that's what makes them frightened. And when they're trying to bring you down, like, they'll see, like, Brogan doing well, and, like, life will try and bring her down. The world around her will try and bring her down, because they don't understand how is she doing what she's doing, how is she developing the way she is. People do it to you, Laura, because they don't understand. They don't, because they can't be you. They can't ever achieve your sense of who you are. And the same with me. I might be really, really wrong, but me inside say it's not. It's fear-based. It's not that they're horrible people. It's not. They're just frightened of something that they don't understand. And if they took that time to understand, or we took that time to, like, because I've never sat and, like, if you were to ask me about my life or about me before today, I'd have probably gone into a lot of facts and figures, and this happened at this age and that happened at that age and blah, blah, blah. But I'm at an age now that I'm sort of like, that doesn't define me. They're
Yeah.
my experiences in life, but they aren't who I am.
Yeah.
Who I am is like, to be honest, I'll tell myself it all the time. Who I am is a beautiful person that deserves to be looked upon as beautifully as you look at a gorgeous flower.
I do. You're radiant.
I was
Yeah.
created no differently than that, no differently than you are, than Brogan is, than Angela is, than Mary is, than Kevin is, than Christina is. We were all created in that way. So how are we all not beautiful?
Danielle was saying we are all connected energetically.
Yeah, we are all connected energies, without a doubt.
Old Mummy Wolf, the universe has brought you together. A lot of connections made. It doesn't come along too often.
No, no. And life can be very quick in what it wants to take that away. Do you know what I mean? And if you don't maintain that, so like for us, we do all speak to each other all the time. And old Mummy Wolf, we speak with her all the time. And Angela, we speak with her all the time. You have to maintain, you've got to maintain them things. If
Yeah.
you don't, then you risk losing them. And probably because of my loss of my siblings, that I learned what loss is, and I was connected to them in such a way that it was unspeakable, the way that I'm connected now. Do you know? And I never want to lose touch with that. Not just with yous, with me mainly. You know, heaven forbid anything ever happened that I'd need to lose anybody close like that. But now I know that as long as I don't lose me, and I can get to, like, I can get to the end of mine, and I can.
Don't think that's for us. It's fine.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I think that like people are like, what do they want to achieve from this life, and what do they want to take out of it? And like, we spend so many hours working, providing, and making sure that maybe we've left life insurances, we've left like houses, we've left all their material things. But for me, it's not that. It really isn't that. Like, my children know how to love, they know how to receive love. My grandchild does. The people that I love around me know that. And what I want to have achieved in this life is to leave that love here. I want that love to be able to grow. I want it to be able to be, it transcends time and all things. Like, that for me is more, it's more powerful than anything else. And it's got more, it's like that money and all the materialistic stuff and all that you're working so hard to buy this thing and buy that thing and buy that thing. It'll break. It'll
Yeah.
go in the bin. I don't see the point. What are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
we've all lost sense of what we're even here for. Like,
Consumerism, it's not.
yeah, and not like working so hard on, like, that we need to fit in with everybody else, and we need to fit in with what society tells us we have to fit in with. Yeah, we do on some level, but not all levels. Not all levels. What's more important is that you fit in with you, and you fit in with your sense of love and identity.
Mm-hmm.
I think anyway, like, I just want, when my time comes, like, I want to feel that love from mine, and I want them to feel that love from me. And if I've given that, if I've shown other people how to do them things, then my work is done. Like, I might not, because I do have ill health and I do have reasons that I couldn't do stuff, but this is the point.
I agree, this is the point. Mary's saying, that's the beauty in love, always wins. We are exactly who we are meant to be, and the bonding without judgment. Change is already here, and it's truly beautiful to see. Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, how beautiful. And she's beautiful, Mary is as well. I think that that's as well, you know what I get like really frustrated with, is how people think like we're on this journey and there's like this end goal thing. Like, it really frustrates me. Like, what if this is the goal? What if it is here right now? What if the goal is to love right in this minute, but yet you missed it because you're too busy thinking about tomorrow?
So Joe is saying it's the little things in life that mean the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're the things that money can't buy. They're the
Yeah.
things that, like, it can't be bought, you know. And like, so now that we're in with Brogan, go on, sorry.
Angela saying that's a matrix program.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is the Matrix program without a doubt. But I think that that's where it is now, that we're like, so we've got so much to learn from like Brogan and that. But like, so if I say that there's stuff that we need to feed into the younger generations, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. Because society is going to teach you all kinds and you're learning along the way. But if what you can do is try and remember some of the grounds and stuff, some of the mindfulness, some of the love, some of the self-care, some of the self-love, some of the boundary, all of them things, if you can remember all of them things, then I really don't think you can go far wrong. Do you know, like,
Life's not as difficult. Now
no, it's not.
we're never taught how to know who we are, and to like about boundaries or standards, about self-esteem, or how to raise your self-esteem, or anything that you learned in your psychology, or
Yeah,
about spirituality, but not just. Yeah, I know that you're taught in schools about religion, but you're not taught about there's other things, like when you said about you and your sister being in the hospital with your mum, you would
yeah,
completely respectful each other's views.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that we as humans tend to get like, this is, we have to be the same, and we have to do this and we have to do that, rather than just being who we are supposed to be as people.
yeah.
So elevate soul's production, making memories in the present moment. Love, kindness is the key to true wealth. I agree
Absolutely.
with that.
Couldn't agree anymore. But if there was anything, then like, so like, Brogan, I know that you've sat and you've listened tonight and that, and you've heard like you've heard me on a different level now, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? Is there anything that you'd want to like ask me?
No, I think he's covered everything. And obviously, we talk on a daily, most days, so I've, I know that. And then I was gone away, that was a bonding trip, so I know both of you is on a whole different other level.
In a
So,
good way, in a good way.
Do you
yeah,
think? Do you think it's important though, Brogan, for the youth to be able to hear this stuff, or as us old timers just waffling on?
I think it's important, and even though it sounds like waffling on, it's a story. And if you're not willing to listen to the story, then you're not going to learn much.
Mm,
So, you need to listen to learn, and you need to give advice to teach other people. And
Mm.
I think I'm taking in your advice and your knowledge to then give it to the next generation that comes along. And then I'll just be a copy and paste of you.
Oh,
Brilliant.
bless you. Then that's lovely though, isn't it? Because it lets us know that like we're not far off. Like that's enough for me. Like I could truly shed tears. Like it's beautiful that the world would put like people together. Do you know what I mean? Like I know that it was a production company that put people together, but it wasn't really the
But
universe.
I believe that things are meant to happen, and things
Yeah.
are meant to happen at the right time as well. So we're meant to be here. We're meant to do this. So
Absolutely.
mhm.
But yeah, like so it has all been very serious, like with me, but like it's also been like that fun element that come from being a child, like that'll never be gone. Like that'll always be.
So
You
can I ask you a question? Just because I really want to ask you this question.
yeah.
What's in store for the future for Colleen?
I think to help this grow. I think to help this grow and make. Truthfully, I want to write my book. I want to be able to put everything down. I think there's a lot of things that I wouldn't speak about on any platform, but I think there's a lot to be learned on different levels. So I would really like to put that down. I wouldn't use my name. I'd have to use a pseudonym because I think I'd want to protect like my children, and do you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't I wouldn't want them like open to anything. But I think that's what's pretty much next for me. I think doing this and it feeding onto my like, yeah, you can do this now. Come on, it's okay. Like that's what's next.
that's amazing. Mary, love that, Brogan. You're exactly right. Listen, as it is any age, but for you, it is to understand that is phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Understanding is key, isn't it?
Mhm.
So I think it's just going to be a lot more fun, to be fair. I think it's going to be a lot more good times to come. We want to be able to enjoy this journey that we're on now, enjoy this together. And then the separate things, really. Do you know what I mean? Other than that, more loving of my family because you don't know, have I got tomorrow, have I got for a week, have I got them for a few years, how long? So I just intend to love them with every bit of who I am, every single day. To love me as much as I can every day. So that's pretty much.
Well, that's fantastic, honestly.
But
I think
it'd be nice though next week now though, getting to know you a bit more, Laura.
I'm already getting nervous sometimes. Just every now and again. And I'd hats off to you for going through your journey. I do think it's a great idea that we do this, but I'm a little bit nervous to go through mine. I'm a talker, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk about myself for a full hour.
You'd be surprised how fast it goes, babe. You'd be surprised how quickly it goes. And we'll be there with you. We were not going to leave you on your own. We will help guide it. So we've got it.
Absolutely.
It's important that people know who you are.
I've really enjoyed because although that I've heard a lot of your story, I've never heard it all before, and I'm
Yeah.
so grateful to have the opportunity to sit and listen and learn as well.
Thank you.
Christina says sharing your story is very releasing.
Absolutely. And you'll find it as well next week. It's quite empowering as well because it's yours, not anybody else's.
You looking forward to it, Brogan?
I'm looking forward to listening to your story,
No,
telling
it's
mine.
not the yours.
Yes, yeah.
Whenever
Well,
so.
I'll gain the confidence eventually.
Brilliant.
I'll find it somewhere. So
Mary says, love getting to know you more about you, Colleen. Truly inspiring. I agree with Mary. I do find you really inspiring.
No, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. It's nice if you can do that for somebody. And again, it feeds into you. It feeds into your work. And you'll find the same thing. But
Journey next week.
yeah, yours next week. So are we done for this evening? We're going to
Yes.
say bye to everybody.
is Laura saying bye?
So you. Yes, no problem. Thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you next week, where we'll be highlighting myself and my journey so far. So it's bye for now, with love, light, and laughter. And please remember, you're only human.